Hello everybody, I am Samuel15 the Dragon Team here today, and today we're doing yet another interview with someone who did well this past states, and that person is Austin Long.
Hello.
And he managed to do well at all four states. He top 16 two of them and top 8 the other two, which
Yes.
is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah. So going into week 1,
hmm
why did you decide to play Night March?
Well, I did really well with Night March in city championships. The very first city championships we went to was the North Carolina Mini Marathon, and the very first city, Night March won it. And
Nice.
I was so surprised because I played Vespa Queen that day. No, I'd played Vespa Queen that day, and I was so confused. I was like, I didn't know Night March was a deck. Like, I didn't even know what it was. I had to like go and like see what the cards did. Like, I was like, what is this? And I didn't know it was a thing. And then I looked at it and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. But the next day I played Vespa Queen again, and still didn't end up doing very well. And then the next cities we went to, the very first one I played Entei. That Mark Samuelson had gave me his list, and I just wasn't really clicking with the deck, and I was like, I don't really know what to do. So the next day, I was in the hotel room with my friends, and I was like, just hand me a deck. Like, I don't even care what it is. Just hand me something. And they handed me Night March, and I won that city. So with Night March, the first time I'd ever played the deck, like I just found out about the deck like 2 weeks before that. And the first time I'd ever really played it, and I took it and I won that cities, and I was like, wow, this deck's so strong, just with the melodics and being able to reuse the megaphone. Austin Vance, who I beat in the finals at that cities. I mean, I think that game 3 of the finals, I used megaphone like 4 times or something crazy like that against Entei. It was, but anyway. I don't know. Like I said, I got a lot of points with it at cities, and I just enjoyed the deck. I thought it was really fun to play. So coming into states, I was looking at all of the meta and what everything was, and I was very scared of Jolteon EX. That was a card that I was afraid of.
Mhm.
So at first, the 1/1 Milotic that's in my list, that was a 1/1 Zebstrika from Breakpoint. And Zebstrika has the ability that all of your lightning Pokemon's attacks aren't affected by any effects on the defending Pokemon. So, yeah. So my Joltix go through Jolteon EX was the thought there. And Zebstrika's a really good card in that it one-shots Mega Rayquaza, it one-shots Trevenant, and it one-shots Eviltal EX, and both of the baby Eviltals that are very hard for my deck to kill if I can't get a Joltik out there. So that was that. So about 3 days before that, I was practicing with my team. We're all a team in Georgia, basically the best players in Georgia. We're Monstars, and we were all playing. And I was like, there's just so many other matchups that Zebstrika just does nothing. That I was like, I really wanted to drop it, and they were telling me to put in more trainer, like put in another trainer's mail and something else. And I was like, you know what? I really like Milotic. I had 2/2 Milotic in my Night March deck from cities, and I dropped that for 4 Puzzle of Time because I was like, I don't need Milotic. I have these Puzzles of Time. They're so good. And then I was like, well, why not both? So at the last minute, I changed it to that, and then at Georgia State's, we had 8 rounds. I was 5-0. At going into round 6, and then I lost to Jolteon EX, of course, at round 6. Jose Marrero playing the Mega Ray Jolteon. He ended up winning the state championships that day. And then I was able to win 1 more and then tie my last game in the top cut. So the big mistake that I made in Georgia championships, I feel like I could have potentially went even further in Georgia. I didn't play an escape rope that day. I was still playing Switch. And then I changed that, and then I needed AZ for that Milotic. But other than that, I mean, Georgia went really well. Going into South Carolina, I that morning or that whole week, I was testing like Darkrai, the new Darkrai with Eviltal EX and Garbodor, and it was running so well. And I was like, I might play this. And then I got to the tournament, and I was like, I'm just going to play the same deck. I got top 8. There's nothing wrong with that. So
yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. So that day, I was 3-0. and then I played against 2 item lock decks in a row that just got so lucky and just absolutely slaughtered me.
Which
and then I was
ones?
able to. I lost to Trevenant round 4 when I was 3-0, so I was 3-1, and then I lost to Vileplume the very next round.
Oh.
That both of them, they won the coin flip and went first.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was awful. And then North Carolina is probably. Yeah, North Carolina is probably the best story of my deck of state championships. Round 1, I go against Trevenant.
Oh, wow.
He wins the coin flip, flips over a Phantump, and then plays a Wally on his first turn. Like, just from his hand. He didn't play a Trader's Mail, a Battle Compressor. He just plays a Wally. I'm like, okay, that's like a Pokédad, so it just feels even worse.
Oh, when the Pokédads do that kind of stuff, do you just kind of feel a little bit more saltier than you should?
Yeah, exactly. So I lost round 1.
Oh.
So then I go on to win 4 in a row,
Oh.
play the mirror, tie it, and then win 1 more. End up being 5-1-1, but then I bubbled out of cut because I lost that first round. My resistance was just so bad. Yeah, my resistance was just so bad. I couldn't. I was 10th place. I had the lowest resistance. But I mean, that day, my matchups were round 1 that Trevenant, round 2 I played against Jolteon EX, round 3 I played against Vileplume, round 4 was Jolteon EX again. And then round 5 was Mirror, and then I had like a bye basically. I played against Manectric, and I just beat it pretty easily. And then round 6 I played against Vileplume, or round 7 I played against Vileplume again. So it was a comeback story for the books, man. I mean, I played against almost entirely bad matchups and still was able to come back from a round 1 loss and make top 16. I should have made top 8 that day after playing against so many bad matchups and coming back from the dead. But you know, I'm happy for my buddy Connor. He ended up winning that one, so it's all good. But
that's what happens when you lose round 1. That's why everyone's like so scared to lose like round 1 or 2 because
your resistance.
Because the good thing about like losing like round like 2 or 3 or onwards is that you know at the very least your opponent has 1 or 2 wins, so you don't have to worry about too much of your opponent's just gonna trash from there. But I'm guessing your round 1 opponent didn't do like maybe got like I don't know another win or 2.
He went like 2-4-1 that day, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. So and then Alabama, I started out 4-0, so I just needed to win 1 more, and then I lost to Mega Ray Jolteon again. That's like my bane of my existence, man. Next round I play against my buddy Daniel Irvin.
Oh, I hate when you play against your friends.
And that's the win and in round too.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It was bad, and he was playing the mirror. He was playing. He wasn't playing my list. He was playing something. He was playing his own, a bit different. But I ended up 2-0ing him. He said even if I would have lost, he would have given me the tie because with me making top 8 that day, I had my world championship invite.
Nice.
So he was gonna tie me even if. But then I ended up 2-0ing him and winning. And the next round I just ID'd in a top cut. And then of course I had all good matchups in top 8 except for Jose Marrero,
except for that one deck.
And that's what I played in top 8. He's playing Toad Tina with hammers and a Latios. So he would just donk me. It was bad. There was like a 0% chance of me winning that game.
So basically, your worst matchup, because I know
exactly.
I know a lot of Nigh March players feel like Toad is probably their worst matchup, maybe along with Vileplume and Trev.
Mm-hmm. Well, item lock in general is very hard because if you look at my deck, I play 16 Pokemon, 4 energy, and then 40 trainers, and only 6 of those are supporters. So the rest are all items, and it's. I mean, when more than half of your deck you can't even play it, it's bad.
And Giratina shuts off all the
energy.
double colors.
Yeah, and I don't play Hammer or Xerosic. I basically built my deck to beat the mirror and to be able to outspeed like an item lock if I go first and stuff like that. Yeah. And I just said I'll just take the loss to Giratina because you don't see it much in standard anyway. And I just figured I'll just take the loss to Tina and I'll beat 3 other matchups in its place.
Yeah, it seems like Giratina's Giratina Toad is only like in certain parts of the country because like the few times it does show up, it usually does extremely well, if not wins the whole entire thing.
Yep.
But people are just kind of afraid to play it because he gets bodied so hard by a Voltol.
And it gets bodied so hard by the promo Jirachi, man. That
Oh
thing
yeah.
killed that deck. It's so good against it. That my friend James Miller, he actually he played his list as the exact same as mine, except he instead of the 1/1 melodic, he plays promo Jirachi and then a basic psychic energy, and he
Okay.
ended up winning the tournament at Alabama that day. So but I mean, like, I have to give a shout out to my team from Georgia. They helped me so much. They've all ever since I've got it back into playing, they've been helping me. I mean, the Monstars in Georgia, we took home 3 out of the 4 state championship wins in our area. So yeah, we won. From Connor won South Carolina and North Carolina, and then James Miller won Alabama. So we won 3 out of 4. So it feels good, man.
Yeah, like that area of the country is not, for the past years, was not really known for having a good player base, but you guys have been kind of been putting that area on the map at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think we've put Georgia more up there because before it was like Georgia tournaments were basically like
Scrub tournaments.
championship points for Florida players. They
Yeah,
could come up there and get some points. But
yeah.
we've been because last year, I don't know if you know this, but last year at the Georgia Marathon, Florida won all but one of our city championships out of because at the Georgia Marathon we have 11 in a row,
Yeah,
and they
I
won
know.
10 of the 11, and then my buddy Nathan won one of them. This year, I won. Our team won 7 out of the 11 of them, and then Florida only won 1. So they
Ooh.
went from winning 10 to winning 1, and
Wow.
we won 7. We took 7 of them home. I took one of them home. I mean, it was we definitely took back Georgia. I feel like we've taken it back. So
Yeah,
in my
there's
opinion.
yeah, there's just some states that like some that great players from other states just kind of go. We'll take your championship points. Like
Right.
Chicago players kind of do that to Indiana. California players kind of do that to some the other states near like Arizona and stuff and places like that. And Texas does that to Oklahoma. Plus, that's and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting to see you guys take back your state and that in your area of the country in general.
We had to, man. We were tired of losing to Nannerpuss up in South Carolina, and then Team Prison down in Florida. We were getting bodied on both sides, and we had to take it back for the Battle Factory Pokemon League. So.
Nice. So, what did you play in top eight in both of your states?
So in Georgia Championship in top 8, I played against Greninja and at Georgia. So
Mm-hmm.
and Greninja's an extremely good matchup for me. I smile every time I see someone flip over a Froakie. It's a very very good matchup for my Night March deck.
Really?
Just because early game I just get everything early game because they do nothing early game, and I get basically 2 to 3 free prize cards in the Greninja matchup,
Yeah.
and which is a good thing. And because I had played 2 Greninjas that day, and I had absolutely slaughtered both of them. So sorry Trent, if you watch this, I bodied you. But anyway, I play this guy in top 8, and he plays Ace Trainer. And Ace Trainer, let me tell you, is a super good card in Greninja. It's ridiculous because I would take three prize cards right off the bat, and then he'd Ace Trainer me into a dead hand, and then he'd just like come back and take like 4 prizes in one turn. So game 1, I should have won. I really should have. It was some crap that I didn't win it. He ended up flipping heads on bubble 3 turns in a row.
The bubble.
The
Yes.
bubble. Yeah, he flipped heads on bubble 3 turns in a row after only having like he all he had was a Froakie, and he flipped for bubble, got heads. I whiffed the switch, and at the time, like I said, stupidly, I wasn't playing AZ, so I whipped the switch, and he was able to keep me under bubble for 3 turns in a row, and he's able to get his stuff set back up, and then he was able to take like 3 or 4 prize cards in one turn and win game 1. I won game 2. Game 3 went to time, and I had 3 prizes and he had 5. And then on turn 3, he was able to take 3 prize cards in one turn and get more prize cards than me, so he won in time. It was It didn't feel good to lose to Greninja after beating it so mightily 2 games in a row. But like I said, it was mostly due to those 3 bubble flips in game 1 that won in the game. If he would have flipped tails on any one of those 3, I would have won the set. So
yeah, you're not salty at all about that.
No, I am. I was salty about it for a while. I was mad. I was like, "There's no way this guy flips 3 heads," and he did it. Georgia was definitely the hard. No, I'd say actually North Carolina was the hardest, even though I didn't make top 8 because I played so many bad matchups. But Georgia was tough because we had 8 rounds that day. We had like 140 something people. So we had to play 8 rounds. Even though I was 5-0 at one point, I still almost didn't make cut because I lost in round 6 because you had to get a 6-1-1 to make top cut. So it's just it's rough. Like I said, Georgia was the longest. South Carolina was. Like I said, I lost to 2 item locks from players that are not even competitive players. They're like newer people, and they just decided to pick up item lock, and it's just so good against Nigh March that I just can't even outskill them in any way. And then I don't know. And then so then in top 8 in Alabama, I played against Toad. I played against Toad, Tina, Latios with hammers, and I mean. There's no way to beat that because how you beat Toad Tina generally if they don't play the hammers, which or how you beat Tina like the metal Tina deck and the fire Tina deck.
Yeah.
If you put a Night Marcher with an energy on your bench, hope they don't Lysander it, and then knock out their Giratina with an energy already have in play. But with Toad Tina, they play all those hammers. They get rid of your energy on the bench, and then they Chaos Veil you, and that you just lose. So
Well, I was playing the metal variant with Tyrantrum, and what I like to do against the Night March players was to kill the active Night March player that had DC on it, and then try to zero-sick the other DC on the bench and just kind of leave them stranded with that way.
Yeah, see, that's a good plan too, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I always did against that.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, still you did really good, like you. I mean, you made your Worlds invite, which is pretty nice. How many championship points did you have before going into States?
Before going into States, I had 149, and I didn't even really have 149 because one of the league challenges I went to, the league leader didn't put in the information right, so the league challenge didn't count. So that was 12 of my points gone. So I was really at 137 or something like that, and I ended up getting. I ended up getting 160 points. So right now I'm at 297, and I have 3 open LCs. So I can just get top 4 at something, and so I'm only 3 points away. So I'm and I'm going to League Challenge Saturday, so I'm sure I'll have it then.
Yeah, it'd be really surprising if you did not get your World's invite by then.
Man, that'd be crazy.
It's but weird things have happened. I've heard people who had no championship points going to nationals and managed to top 8 or something like that and get the Worlds invite.
Yeah,
Rarely, though.
Yeah, it's crazy, but
this game's crazy. We play.
Yep, I agree.
So let's see. What changes did you make from states to states to states?
Georgia, my list was almost the same as I played at the other 3 at South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama. I played the exact same deck list. Okay. I didn't change it at all. Georgia, the only difference was I didn't play Escape Rope. I played Switch instead. And the story behind that is I used to play 2 Floatstone in Night March, which most people play. And then in top 8 at a cities, I played against Fright Knight Eviltall, which turns off your tools.
Wow.
I needed to retreat. I had 2 Floatstones in my hand, and I was like, why isn't one of these a Switch? So I played Floatstone Switch for a long time. I found out that Escape Rope's the best card in the game, so I play that now. Escape Rope has won me probably 10 games since in the 3 city championships that I played it. It's insane how good Escape Rope is. I mean, there's so many times that I played against a guy with Jolteon EX, and I was target whistle, Escape Rope, Lysander, and he was like, you can't hit Jolteon. I was like, yeah, I went to the bench. It gets rid of the effects, and we had to call a judge, and he confirmed it. But I mean, even other games, my opponents would, if they went first with Greninja, they would Wally the Froakie on their bench and leave a little Remoraid or Dedenne or like another Froakie active, so their Frogadier would be safe, and that'd be the only two Pokemon on Escape Rope, and they'd have to pull up the Frogadier. I mean, Escape Rope's just such a good card in so many situations. It's definitely the MVP in a lot of games. I mean, it's such a good. I mean, it won me a lot of games. I was just like Target Whistle. I mean, those are probably two of the best cards in my deck, and I don't know. It's crazy, but and then I played. What did I take out? I had Catcher in my deck at Georgia State's. And it ended up being, it was a really good card, and I really didn't want to drop it, but I needed an AZ because of Bubble and because of picking up the Melodic, and it's just the Paralyze is just such a good effect, and then reusing Melodic with AZ, and it's a way that I can draw cards without having to play Sycamore, because in my list I don't play any Shuffle Draw. I don't like Shuffle Draw in Night March because I want stuff in the discard pile. So my supporters are 3 Sycamore, a Hex, Lysander, teammates, and then an AZ. So I play like 7 supporters.
Yeah, which is a little bit less what I've been seeing in some other Night March decks.
Yeah, I wanted a lot of trainer. I mean, I play 4 Acrobright, 3 Trainers Mail, like 4. I play so many 4-ups of these items, and it's like, I just kept, like, I used to have Xerosic and like a Birch. So I used to have all these cards in there, and I just kept dropping them and putting an item in its place. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of people who play Night March have dropped the Xerosic altogether because they have the mentality of, if they play Totina, which they're very unlikely to do so, they'll just take that loss, which is what I've been seeing. Like people.
Because you won't see it at top tables. You won't see Totina unless you hit it round 1, 2. You usually won't hit it. Yeah. So.
But usually, even if you do play this Xerosic, like in my experience, Xerosic does not really hurt Totina that much unless you're able to get like 5 Via Seekers on a row or something dumb.
You have to play, if you're gonna play Xerosic, you need to play Enhanced Hammer also. Yeah. They work in combination really well. I don't think just playing one or the other works as much as playing both. Playing both, I mean, if the meta was different, I would be playing both. But right now, I feel like just a fast, hard hitting. Turn 1. Let's hit that 170 with the Fury Belt. Let's knock out that Manectric. Let's knock out that Toad. I feel like a hard, fast hitting deck is better than sitting there trying to Xerosic and hammer all the time.
Absolutely, that's probably the best play. So I was gonna say something. What do you think? Well, I was going to ask you if there's any matches you were fearing of playing, but like you pretty much played all of them.
I played them all. I played the Jolteon. I played against the Toadtina. Toadtina, I didn't see all states until top 8 at Alabama, which was the 4th one. Mm-hmm. I didn't see until then, so I got really fortunate. I missed it, for 3 states and then most of the 4th one. But I saw a lot of item lock. But see, I don't like people are always like, oh, Night March gets slaughtered by Vileplume or Night March gets slaughtered by Trevenant, and it's like it's really a 50-50 matchup, and the matchup comes down to when you first sit down, whoever wins that coin flip. That's that basically. And it's different because Vileplume, they almost always hit it because it's such a strong deck and that it's so consistent. Trevenant, they have to hit that turn 1 Wally, and it's not as easy as Vileplume has it. So I'd rather see a Trevenant than I would a Vileplume, honestly. And plus, Vileplume replaces my stadium, and me and Trevenant use the same stadium. Yeah. So that actually, I like the Trevenant matchup a lot more than I like the Vileplume matchup. Like I said, Jolteon EX is tough. But unless they get that lock on you by playing AZ and then Sacred Ash, I can usually handle Jolteon EX. It's not as I think it's a little overrated in my opinion. And then really, that's the only bad matchups. Giratina, like I said, Giratina and then Item Lock are like the hardest stuff. So Toadtina's just scary, But that's my worst matchup, honestly, is Toadtina with hammers. That's the only thing that I have. Like I feel like I have less than a 50% matchup against.
So, um, who's gonna? What decks do you feel like are your best matchups?
Any EX deck that's not Giratina EX, honestly. I mean, I'll play against Toad Bats all day, especially now that I have my Fighting Fury belt. Any EX deck that doesn't play Giratina EX is a good matchup because I'm taking 2, they're taking 1, and I'm taking 2 almost every time. I love to play against Lucario. I love to play against Manectric. I love to play against Ho-Oh. I mean, those are I like to play. I mean, like there are matchups that I feel like there's just no, and I love to play against what's that thing, Garchomp. Garchomp, it cannot beat Night March in
No.
any scenario because I thought it did. I was like I'm kind of scared of Garchomp, and then I was like oh wait, Pumpkaboo is resistant to fighting. Never mind, I win. It's like Garchomp needs, if I have a Fury Belt on my Pumpkaboo, Garchomp needs
Strong.
too strong with its second attack to knock out Pumpkaboo. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is pretty ridiculous. Not to mention, you can stream your attackers more consistently than they can.
Yep, and they use the Focus Sash, but I can just reuse my Megaphone as many times as I need to.
Puzzle time, Milotic, GG.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I played against Garchomp round 1 at Georgia State's, and the guy smiled when he saw my Joltik, and then I was like, oh god, and then I was like, Megaphone, attack, and then I knocked out, and he was like, okay, he pulled up his guy, got another Garchomp out, put a Focus Sash on it, and I was like, puzzles for the Megaphone, and you could see that he was just starting to realize that, like, it's not as good of a matchup, I think, as people assumed it would be.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's one of the things everyone's like been asking themselves is like, why is Night March? Well, not why is Night March so good, but like everyone's like saying Night March is too good. But when you think about it, in the format, Night March has like 3 or 4 bad matchups, and like it still does really well. It just needs to, for the most part, avoid those matches and that just do well. I think the number one reason why that March is not really like Night March is doing so well is because not everyone's playing those item lock decks that beat Night March, because those item lock decks lose to decks that Night March beats.
I think the problem, in my opinion, the problem with Night March is that the deck is just too cheap. Every deck needs Shaman, every deck needs Versus Seeker. I'm not saying those are cheap, but what I'm saying is, in Trevenant, if you look at Trevenant, XY Trevenants are like $10 a piece. Yeah. I think the break is still around 12. It's an expensive deck. Joltics are 20 cents and Pumpkaboos are 20 cents. You know what I'm saying? And it's like anyone can pick up, go if they. I mean, most people already have Versus Seekers and Shamans. They can go to their local card store and buy the Nigh March engine for less than $1, and most people already have the battle compressors. They might even have the commons for Night March sitting around. So there's just a lot of Night March. It has a lot of bad matchups, just like any other deck. But there's just so much of it that sometimes they slip through the cracks. And it's also a really, it's the most consistent deck in the format, in my opinion, just because it has so many items and things just work. So, I don't know. I feel like it's really consistent. I usually dead drew once or twice, but only dead drawing once or twice when you're playing 30 games is pretty good, in my opinion.
And one last question before I let you go.
Okay.
I was about to ask you if how many championship points do you have now, and if you feel like you're going to be able to make your Worlds invite, but we've already discussed that you have 297 championship points, and you're more than likely going to make your Worlds invite. But
yes, sir.
But what do you think? What decks are you looking at going to the expanded format for regionals?
The thing about expanded is I'm not very good at it. I actually played back in 2013 when Black and White was out. Like I think the current set was like during Plasma and stuff like that. I played for a couple of months, like during that Cities format. Yeah. And so I know all the cards. I know what they all do. I'm familiar with the format. The thing is that I'm not a fan. I like Vespa Queen, I like Night March, I like stuff like that, and those decks generally just don't do very well in Expanded. I don't really like Evil Tall, and that's one of the biggest things.
Yellowtail's
Looking
king
into
is expanded.
expanded, I'm looking at the new Darkrai EX. It's a very, very good card.
Mhm.
A lot of my teammates played it at the last tournament, and I think they all made day 2 at Florida with this deck. And I'm going to play something very similar. The only regionals I was going to go to all 3 at this, but now that I have my Worlds invite because I did so well at States,
Yeah.
I'm probably just going to go to Georgia regionals because to save on money and stuff like that and time. So I'm probably, even because I already have my points, I'm just going to go to Georgia just to have fun with my friends and stuff there. But looking at the expanded format, I mean, I don't know. I've only played in 1 regionals this year, and I didn't do very well at it. All my points are from cities and states from the standard. So I went to St. Louis. I played Evil Tall. I played like the mirror match 4 times and won 2 and lost 2, and then I was like really hungry and we didn't have a lunch break that day, so I ended up dropping. But it was
There's no lunch break?
not at St. Louis. They were going to have one. They told us there was going to be one, and at the last minute they were like, there's no lunch break. You can go to the concession stand outside and eat, and they were charging like $12 for grilled cheese or something like that. So I was just I'm just going to drop and go to Arby's. See you guys later. So, but I still had fun there. I mean, I played a lot of Cards Against Humanity and some old formats. I still had, it was still worth the trip, and I got to hang out with my friends from Indiana. But yeah, so.
Cards Against Humanity is a really fun game, but you feel like a horrible human being when you do.
Right. So yeah. Looking at the expanded format, I really like the new Darkrai. I like him with 4 Dark Patch, 4 Max Elixir. I feel like he can hit pretty hard. But that's about as far as my expanded insight goes.
All right. Well, thank you once again for your time. That was Austin Long, everybody. Thank you, and thank you to him for sharing us his list. Jared messed up words there, but thank you, Austin, for sharing us your list.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank you once again, and thank you for everyone who tuned in today for today's video. Please like, subscribe, all that silly stuff. I should have more videos and more interviews coming up short within the next couple days, so please stay tuned for that. Please like, subscribe, all that silly stuff. Follow me everywhere you can, and I'll see you guys, hopefully, next time.